Smart Travels is a grand tour of the old world, the people, places, sights, and distinctly European flavors. Our host is travel writer and columnist Rudy Maxa, Public Radio's original savvy traveler. Now, tips, trips, and secret places on Smart Travels.
Limpid, calm waters, rock-bound coves, and shimmering stone cities, Croatia's Dalmatian coast is Europe's less traveled Riviera. Ancient stone towns, Renaissance palaces, and romantic fortresses dot the landscape. Rocky islands, some inhabited, others wild sanctuaries, beckon across the placid sea. Fresh seafood and local wine enliven the cuisine. All that in a sunny climate make Dalmatia a prime Mediterranean destination. Dalmatia is the coastal region of Croatia with a history of its own. This beautiful and strategic region has been fought over for centuries by the Romans, Venetians, Hungarians, Turks, and French. Dalmatia's
towers and ancient ruins. Add to that the sun, the surf, the solitude, and you have the makings of a perfect holiday.
Our journey in Dalmatia begins in Dubrovnik. Then we island hop to Korčula by way of Stone. Back on the mainland, we visit Split, Trogir, and finally the island of Hvar. Starigrad, Dubrovnik's beautifully preserved old quarter. The city enforces strict rules about upkeep of homes, and signage for shops is limited to a discreet name on the lantern above the door. At the far end of the Stradoon, a gate leads to the picturesque harbor. Here, women sell traditional handicrafts and ships come and go into the walled inlet. In the 16th century, Dubrovnik's sea trade reached its zenith, and boats regularly sailed from here to the far corners of the globe. Today, enormous cruise ships often loom in the harbor, and the streets suddenly overflow with tourists at midday. Roman Catholicism is the religion of the Croat. The Serbs belong to the Eastern Orthodox Church. Neighboring Serbia differs culturally as well, influenced by the Eastern Roman Empire, whereas the West dominated in Dalmatia. Catholicism flourished here as popes promoted the building of monasteries and churches. In Dubrovnik's 14th century Franciscan monastery, you can wander through lovely cloisters where animal and human heads adorn the dual columns. Preserved within the monastery is the pharmacy, established in 1391 and one of the oldest in Europe. The monks concocted cures from plant roots and bark and extracted poison from snakes for anti-venom. Most of Dubrovnik's hotels are located outside of the old town. At the newly renovated Grand Palace Hotel, every room commands a stunning view of the sea. Here, swimming pools nearly merge with the turquoise water, and there's an open-air restaurant where you can gaze out and plan your route to the islands.
If you crave a beach break, you can grab a water taxi to the wooded island of Lokrum, just 10 minutes away. In fact, for the best beaches, it's a good tip to get out of the major towns and take water taxis to nearby islands.
Water taxis ferry people to and from the island and take about 10 minutes. You can also sign up for cruises to various islands for picnics or nature walks. The shore of the island is rocky with built-in ladders to help swimmers down. A side benefit of the trip is the chance to see Dubrovnik from the water, as have so many centuries of invaders, traders, and pirates.
The Dalmatian coast can be explored entirely by boat. Ferries run to all the major towns and cities, or you can rent a sailboat or yacht and design your own itinerary. With more than 1,100 islands and countless private coves, this gorgeous archipelago is a boater's paradise.
Croatia today evokes Greece a couple of decades ago. A vast number of islands set in the cleanest water of the Mediterranean, unspoiled and inexpensive. With a boat, the possibilities are endless. Uncrowded waters, well-equipped marinas, and countless private isles you can make your own for an afternoon. For the moment, Croatia manages to balance tourism with unspoiled beauty. A great excursion from Dubrovnik takes in the quiet towns and wine of the Pelješac Peninsula. Then we island hop to stunning Korčula. Little more than an hour's drive from Dubrovnik, I came upon a walled town that once provided the Ragusa Republic with riches.
In 1333, when the wall above stone was completed, it was the world's second largest fortification after the Great Wall of China.
The Republic of Ragusa built walls around the town of Stone to protect the salt works, a series of shallow pools in the bay where salt is still collected today. All the residents of this tiny town were required to harvest salt by hand. 2 witnesses had to observe any sale of salt to prevent fraud. Next door to Stone, the little fishing village Mali Stone offers the best seafood in Croatia. Oyster and mussel beds dot the bay at Mali Stone. The picturesque walled town formed another important fortification along the Ragusa Republic's northern defenses. Today, the town restaurants serve up all kinds of fish, mussels, and Croatia's best oysters.
Seafood is the coastal staple in Dalmatia. Even Italy imports Croatian fish. They say the seafood's better along the rocky coastline on this side of the Adriatic.
Mali Stone is quintessential Croatia, a gentle fishing village lost in time. The Pelješac Peninsula also produces some of Croatia's finest wines. The grapes in the overgrown vineyards here ripen and sweeten in the sun reflecting off the sea. At the Grigic winery, east meets west. Owner Mike Grigic was born in Croatia, but he took his winemaking skills to California to produce world-class Zinfandel and Chardonnay. After Croatia gained its independence, Grigic returned to start a small winery. Grigic claimed the Plavec Mali grape grown here is a cousin of the Californian Zinfandel. The estate produces a red Plavec Mali and a white Poship wine.
That's very good.
The Pelješac Peninsula offers sandy beaches and pleasant towns, but the real gem lies across the water from the town of Oro Beach.
The car ferry at Oro Beach carries passengers about 2 miles to the island of Korčula and the stunning town for which it's named.
Perhaps the most romantic of all the Croatian walled beauties, Korčula makes a spectacular first impression.
Ima jedna vječna pjesma, starija od revelina, popucaće mandolina, ona će ti otkrit tajnu.
The town took its present form from the 13th to 15th centuries. The streets curve to form a leaf-like grid to minimize the effects of a strong northeast wind and to maximize cool breezes from the west. Gray stone houses, red tile roofs, fortress walls, and a splash of green palm trees, Korčula town makes an idyllic island retreat. Korčula claims adventurer Marco Polo as its native son. Many experts agree Marco Polo came from Croatia, but from which town, no one is certain. Yet it was surely in these waters off of Korčula in 1298 that a battle raged between Venice and Genoa, and Marco Polo was captured. Later, in a Genoa prison, he recounted his travels to a fellow inmate who wrote them down. For swimming, touring, stopping at towns or monasteries, a boat trip from the island makes for a great adventure. On my trip, I hit a sudden squall and caught Korčula looking quite dramatic. The Venetian influence in Korčula is manifested in lacy architecture. From the 10th century, Venice controlled much of Dalmatia for some 800 years. Korčula's main cathedral, St. Mark's, features expert carvings in its pale limestone, some by 15th century artisans from Italy. Limestone quarries on the island provided Dubrovnik with stone, and master carvers from the Republic taught Korčula artisans their craft. With a car, you can explore other towns and beaches on the island. You can even search the internet or travel agencies for vacation homes to rent in a private cove along this gorgeous coastline. Back on the mainland, we tour the ancient city of Split and its neighbor, Little Trogir, then hop a ferry to one last island, Hvar.
Croatia's second largest city, Split, began as a Roman palace, and today a jumble of centuries exists within its glorious shell.
Split sprang from a Roman emperor's desire to retire to the peaceful, secluded Dalmatian paradise where he was born. The year was 295, and after years of trying to whip the empire in shape and ruthlessly persecuting Christians, the Emperor Diocletian opted out. He built a colossal palace, more than 1 million square feet of apartments, temples, barracks, and baths. The largest private residence in the ancient world, Diocletian's retreat survives in remarkably good shape. Century BC. The mausoleum of Diocletian later became a Christian church, St. Dominus. The principal structure and the dome, which was once covered in gold, date from Diocletian's day. Baroque chapels, 3rd century Corinthian columns, and 13th century walnut and oak doors make for a dazzling hodgepodge of styles. To get a sense of the vastness of the palace, take a trip below to the unadorned underground, where the layout of the rooms mirrors the palace rooms that once stood above. Just outside the city center, the evocative Split Archaeological Museum takes us back to Diocletian's roots. Here in a lovely courtyard, you can wander among sarcophagi from the ancient town of Salona, where Diocletian was born. Enchanting mosaics and eerily lifelike tomb sculptures are jumbled together in a way that makes you feel you're discovering them for the first time. The city of Salona, or Solon, was located 4 miles northeast of Split. A great Roman city in the 1st and 2nd centuries AD, Salona was the capital of Dalmatia. In Diocletian's time, the city had a population of 60,000 and many splendid buildings. The tombs often depict couples, and the realistic portraits demonstrate great sculptural command. The most remarkable piece in the collection? A glowing tomb illustrating the Greek story of Phaedra, who falls in love with her stepson and then kills herself. The tomb was buried with the relief side protected by a building, thus the remarkable preservation.
In 1635, a group of Croatian mercenaries arrived in Paris to lend aid to King Louis XIII. The French were immediately struck by the soldiers' silk scarves that they had tied loosely around their necks. The fashion caught fire. The French called the scarf la croate, which later turned into la cravate, and thus the modern necktie was born.
Croatian ties are made of silk and handcrafted. The designs reflect the mingling of East and West, a touch of the exotic mingled with a classic design.
This tie is designed with traditional Croatian design. This is the first Croatian alphabet, glagoljica.
These are actual old-fashioned letters on here?
Yes.
It's not today's Croatian alphabet.
No, it's a dead letter.
I think it says, buy this tie in ancient Croatian. Buy this tie, buy this tie.
I'm sure.
For something completely different and more modern in Split, the Mestrovic Gallery houses a collection of sculpture by Ivan Mestrovic. The artist was born on the coast in 1883. An illiterate shepherd boy, Mestrovic began attracting attention with his wood carvings and was soon apprenticed to a stone carver in Split. His work went on to receive international acclaim. Mestrovic's sculptures are influenced by Greek classical art and inspired by religion and Croatian nationalism. His fluid lines and swooning bodies are sensual, poignant, and powerful.
Nestled on a small island, the little town of Trogir is a car-free, open-air museum with splendid 13th to 15th century buildings.
An hour's drive north of Split, romantic Trogir makes a nice day trip. The narrow streets of the town reverberate with history. First, the Greeks settled here, then the Romans established an important port. In the 10th century, Venice and Hungary warred for possession of the Dalmatian coast, and Trogir sided with the Hungarians in exchange for a degree of independence. Art and architecture flourished. In the 15th century, Venice finally took over the town and added its own distinctive style. Here, as elsewhere in Croatian towns, economic and comfortable accommodations can be had by renting local apartments. Travel agents and the internet are great resources. Trogir's gloriously faded stone streets are some of the narrowest and most evocative in Croatia. The town was also named a World Heritage Site. A long day trip from Split, or an ideal getaway for a few days, our last island stop awaits.
I've docked at another spectacular island called Hvar. Pirates used to cruise these waters until the Venetians drove them out in the 13th century. Then the town flourished. The Venetian legacy of fine carving and Renaissance palaces graces Hvar town, the most beautiful town on the island. In the 15th century, Hvar grew quite wealthy, as all Venetian boats stopped here en route to and from Venice. Today, the island town attracts wealthy European vacationers. A pleasant afternoon can be had strolling along the waterfront and shopping for lavender products. Lavender grows in profusion on the hillsides, and you can purchase the perfumed herb in many forms. Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely. And this is
Lavender oil.
lavender oil.
A long seaside walkway hugs the shore and meanders past rocky coves and small beaches. At the end of the promenade, a 15th century Franciscan monastery stands watch over a sleepy cove. Here, too, water taxis ferry people to islands for swimming or exploring. Some vacation rentals on the island include a boat for guests. Sweet views can be had from the Fortress Spaniol, a fortified medieval castle built to defend against attacks from all the invaders who coveted these shores. Croatia captivates. With its translucent waters, secluded islands, and walled towns, no wonder people have battled for this land for centuries. Countless travelers who have ventured here for a quick stop have found themselves abandoning their plans and staying longer in this enchanted land.
Here, on an island forgotten by time, there's nothing better to do than enjoy fresh local seafood and wine and watch the sunset in the Mediterranean. From Paradise Found, I'm Rudy Maxa on the Dalmatian coast.
All videos and DVDs of Smart Travels are $24.95 each, plus shipping. Call 800-866-7425 for the 2-episode DVD or video on Rome day trips and the Dalmatian coast. Details of all of our travel videos, DVDs, and best guidebooks are on the web at smarttravels.tv. Major credit cards are accepted. To order, call this toll-free number or visit us on the web.